Hi, my name is Alexa Alvarez, and today we are going to go over the results for dilutions and plate counts. Today's date is July 19th, and this is my card. So part of what we had to do in this experiment was create dilutions within distilled water with yeast. So we required, if I remember correctly, it was a few milliliters of water and about 1/4 of a milliliter of yeast solution. And we were then to add a few drops, and I believe it was about 4 drops in petri dishes. So as you can kind of see down here, I have my petri dishes. So originally I started this experiment on Tuesday, which I think that was the 13th of July, and followed instructions the best of my abilities, I think. And after 2 days, I really didn't have much growth in my petri dishes. I actually left everything incubating in terms of for the petri dishes. I left them in this tray in our closet, which normally there's no windows in there, so it stays pitch black. And I did leave the door cracked open with our AC running, and I believe we keep it at like 74 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the day while we're at work. So I don't know if temperature was a factor or if maybe any source of light. I mean, our room gets pretty dark to begin with if we have all of our doors closed, and we have blackout curtains back there. So I don't know that the cultures were receiving too much light, if at all. So after the first 48 hours, they pretty much looked like my 5th petri dish, or 10 to the -5th power. So I'm sure you can probably kind of tell on this one, there isn't really much of anything, if at all. There may be like 1 or 2 growths. So I had yesterday, which yesterday was the 18th, I had started the results portion of this experiment, and I figured, you know what, let me just leave them an extra day. And to my surprise, there was a lot of activity. So in this particular assignment, it was a little difficult to count the cultures, and I didn't know how far into the small little specks we were supposed to count. But some of them actually got really quite large. There was a few in here. Actually, on this one, it's quite interesting because this one has both that up there, there's a pretty significant one there, and this entire spot right there is a culture, and there's fuzzies on it. So I'm not entirely sure what all took place with what I did. If I made a mistake, I don't know kind of where I went wrong. I'm hoping I can probably get some feedback on this, because it took a really long time, and it's about to be 4 o'clock West Coast time, and I feel like I was kind of down to the wire in terms of getting this completed so I can submit the video and all that. So I want to say maybe, I think maybe temperature might have been a factor, which I believe after this initial experiment and the one that we did prior within this week, I'm wondering if maybe the closet did get a little bit too warm, which kind of stunted the growth. So I'm actually going to change where I'm going to leave them, and I think I'm just going to utilize the empty box for our lab kit and put anything in there that needs to be cultured and just leave it out in our room. Obviously it's going to stay dark, and temperature, we do keep it controlled in here 100% of the time. Other than that, the instructions were a little complex. we kind of communicated with classmates and getting some feedback between everybody and trying to figure out, like, are we all on the right track? And it sounded like we kind of all were. However, it was a little bit confusing. So I don't know if maybe that also impacted results in terms of maybe understanding the steps we were supposed to take and making sure we didn't cross contaminate or anything like that. I don't know if maybe that was the case in my situation. So just based off of my findings, I feel like the growth was a little bit inconsistent. I feel like with the dilutions, with how we were transferring dilutions from one test tube within between the first test tube to the sixth one, I would have hoped to have had seen some consistency in terms of there being some growth across all of them. Now, on my fifth dish, I'd say I got nothing out of this one. All the others, the growths that I did see were very different than the samples within our lab manual, where our instructions were. So yeah, I I don't quite know. Other than that, I think that's all I have for now. Yeah, so thank you.